this last period, I've been studying a lot about data science and AI engineering, and I know that if you are like me and you want to learn a new technology, maybe a new programming language, or like in my case, learning more about data science without previous experience, you always have the first question, that is, should you pay for a course or you can find all the resources online? So I think that nowadays basically you can find anything for free on YouTube or Google, and there will be for sure some website or something where you can find all these resources completely for free and maybe even in depth. So you don't really need to pay for a specific tutorial or a specific course. But in my case, I always paid usually for a specific course on Udemy, or in the past I used, for instance, Coursera, and currently I'm using DataCamp. Now, after around 2 months now that I've been using DataCamp, I'm kind of happy with the choice I made, but I think that many of these resources could actually be found for free in somewhere. In YouTube, I already found a lot of YouTube channels talking about this topic, so technically you can find this information. It's not like if you don't pay, you don't find this information. And if you consider the other good point of paying for this platform is that usually they give you certain certificates of completion of the courses, and for some people could be a good way to put something in their resume, especially if you're trying to switch career from non-tech related to tech. It could be helpful, but even in this case, I don't think it's really mandatory and not really that important to have, especially because a course completion certificate is not really that relevant unless it is, for instance, industry certification, how it can be a certification from Microsoft about certain Azure tools or topics. In that case, it's an industry standard certification that is requested maybe by the companies to have in order to work for certain technologies, but that is a completely different thing compared to having a certificate from Coursera or DataCamp. But still, like in my case, I managed to get with a, I think, 50% discount this subscription, and I decided to opt for this because I like to have certain courses structured. So basically they already did the work of putting a course together with many topics related to this, so I can just follow that plan and have a clear direction of what to study and follow a specific path. So in the end, it's true that I can find all this information, but it's easier if you already have a specific plan structured for you instead of doing all the hard work, let's say, of putting together a study plan for yourself, especially if you don't know that topic in depth already. In the past, for instance, I wanted to learn about React.js or Node.js, and without experience, I found helpful to buy for a Udemy course about these technologies and having somebody explain from scratch all the features and things I need to get started with the language, especially with examples and tutorials that I could follow and develop on my own. In that case, it was pretty good. I found many videos about React and Node.js on YouTube, especially if you want to keep up to date with the latest features and new versions. Using a course often it's kind of outdated after 1 or 2 years. In tech, it's like a huge amount of time to wait. So in that case, using these complementary resources to get the newest features is kind of mandatory thing if you want to use the newest version of React, for instance. But if you are getting started and having like a basic understanding of a specific language or topics or technology, I think it's a good starting point. And having somebody that has experience on this and can guide you through it, I think you will feel much less lost in that. But again, I think it comes down to more of a personal preference. There are maybe some people that prefer to just make their own study plan. Maybe they already know what they need to study. For instance, if they already have a basic knowledge of that specific language and they're just interested in learning some more advanced features, maybe a complete course about that is not useful because These courses most of the time aim to beginners to the language, so you don't really see in depth the most advanced features. So if you're interested only in that, probably it's better to just find a specific video on YouTube or maybe a specific blog that talk about that feature that you really want to learn. In my case, I started with the idea of getting back to the topics of data science and artificial intelligence without having a specific goal in mind. Like I didn't want to learn about how to use LLM in my local machines. Like I was not aiming for that. So I liked the idea of having these courses already made for me, and I started to follow some of these paths. And I've been gaining a lot of knowledge, transversal knowledge, using, for instance, OpenAI APIs too, and understanding like how it works to get better results, about prompt engineering and other features of AIs that are giving me a good general understanding of it. And now, since I already have knowledge of Python, I've been following the path of data scientists using Python. So actually never used much Pandas library, and seeing how to use effectively the data frames, I think is very interesting and helpful. If you're interested in my learning path, maybe I can do some update videos, maybe even just using shorts to give an update of how it's progressing. But in the end, I think that if you want to really master a certain technology, a certain topic, one course probably will never be enough. Like I know even if I complete all these courses of DataCamp, I mean, it's a good starting point, but it's not like the definitive guided knowledge in these topics that after completing that I will be like the master of the topic. I know that this knowledge comes with practice and implementing maybe projects on your own or working on it in real applications, like really working a job in these topics. And so to close a bit the topic, I will say what really matters is having a goal in mind. Like if you want general knowledge, maybe you can find generic videos on YouTube explaining the topic. Or if you like to have some structured path like me, maybe you can find a course. It can be on Udemy, Coursera, or whatever platform you prefer to use. But if you have, for instance, the specific goal of getting that job that requires that industry level certification, maybe what you need to do is finding a platform or even videos that explains and help you to prepare for this certification. And if you need to spend money, maybe focus on buying and pass that certification, because that's what you really need for your career. While if you only get a certificate for the course completion, maybe it's not that helpful in your case, and spending a lot of money for it, maybe it's not worth it. So anyway, let me know what you think about it, if you are currently using any of these platforms and what are you studying on them. Let me know if you think it's really relevant and valuable to use this platform compared to using free resources like YouTube or random websites. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video.